Judd Zolgad, Derek Whitmore, 1500ESPN.com. Just got done doing a Vikings event line, and Derek, once again, reasoned event. Although, in this case, the Dallas Cowboys favored by 10. We did not see a 10-point victory by the Cowboys. We did see a victory by Dallas. And as you pointed out on the show, too, this is all in how you look at it. Close game, but you lost. You're 1-7. Things are so off the rails at this point. Are you simply playing for the draft pick?
Yeah, and I brought this up in the chat, too. I think, honestly, rational Vikings fans at this point should hope for a 1-15 season. Secondarily, if Josh Freeman or someone emerges as a starting quarterback for the future, that's great, icing on the cake. But what it's all about at this point, figuring out if the coaching staff will be in place next year, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Figuring out if you have a quarterback in the fold that can be your quarterback for the future,
Sure.
Probably not. And then solidifying the top draft choice that you possibly can, and whether it's drafting a quarterback or a defensive player, there's just not much of a point to winning games for the rest of the season. And so the Dallas Cowboys did the Vikings a huge favor today by pulling that game out, I thought.
So what was going on? When did Bill Musgrave say to himself, you know what I should do for Christian Ponder? I should design a game plan that, yeah, he's Christian Ponder. It's not a great game plan, but it's actually going to play to some of his strengths. It looked like for a lot of this game, the offensive game plan, if you're going to play Ponder, made some sense, Derek. And I guess my question is, if this was your plan all along, where has this been? Why did we have to see Bill Musgrave force his game plan down everyone's throat until he realized, you know what I should do? My quarterback can only do X, Y, and Z, so I'll allow him to do some of those things. Ponder wasn't great, but he didn't embarrass himself.
Well, and so much of that is predicated on what Adrian Peterson and the offensive line are able to do. Now, I thought the offensive line didn't run block terribly well today. I'll have to go back and look at the tape, as they always say, to make sure that that's true. But
first time I've heard a media member pull out that one.
It sure seemed anyways
Can't
to
talk
me.
about it. Don't know.
I'm not sure what happened. Couldn't tell you 100% certainty that the run blocking was not good, but it sure seemed in watching that game, Judd, that it was substandard. And Adrian Peterson, despite that, had a great game. Mm-hmm. And I think that's got to be the roadmap for this team. If they were trying to win games the rest of the season, feed Adrian Peterson the rock. I know you wrote a feature column for 1500ESPN.com about that several weeks ago. If you're trying to win, Adrian Peterson's got to touch the ball, and today he did. 25 touches for, I think it was 140 yards and a touchdown.
And a couple runs that were Peterson, they were just Peterson.
Especially the touchdown.
You don't need this. He's good enough that there's going to be, if you give him the ball enough, there's going to be runs where it doesn't matter how much blocking he gets. Now, Jerome Felton on the 50-plus yarder threw a nice block, but Adrian Peterson can carry guys, as you said, on the touchdown, he showed this. Right. He can carry guys by himself. He can carry defenders on his back.
And not only defenders, but to use the old cliche, he could carry the team on his back, too.
Yep.
It makes...
But you don't want him to now. See,
No. Well, because you don't want to win.
With your theory, you actually want to limit the carries now.
Exactly.
Keep him fresh.
Somebody asked me before the chat started, they said, hey, how do you think they use Peterson today? So it depends what you want to do. If you want to win, steady diet of touches to Adrian Peterson. Mm-hmm. If you want to solidify a great draft choice, maybe limit him to the 10 to 15 touches that he's been seeing.
What do we say about the health of this team? Right tackle Phil Loadholt goes out with a concussion today. They play Thursday against Washington. He's not coming back for that game. No. Kyle Rudolph, left foot injury, x-rays negative. However, he left on crutches. He's not playing Thursday, right? The secondary is a mess. Xavier Rhodes gets hurt again, comes back in, and then goes back out. Your secondary is bad when you have your starters.
Yeah.
This team is now completely, when you look at certain areas, they are decimated.
Yeah, and you touched on it. It wasn't a great defense before the injuries. Now you've just got a bunch of career backups.
Yeah.
And you're trying to piecemeal it together for the rest of the season. We don't know that Loadholt won't play. We don't know that Rudolph won't play. But in a short week, you have a game Sunday afternoon. And then you have another game Thursday evening.
Yeah, so tomorrow
that doesn't leave enough time for practices.
So on Monday you'll look at film. You won't really practice. Tuesday you'll practice. Wednesday you'll go through a walkthrough. Mm-hmm. So basically you have between now and then they have one real practice.
Right.
And they're playing Washington, which beat San Diego, but they're a bit of a mess as well. Mm-hmm. This thing. Good luck to the NFL Network in packaging this game. All right, there is nothing like when you have adversity and you have players mad at coaches, and we know the players haven't been real happy with the coaches, but Derek, for the first time, I think, really post-game, we had guys, including Kevin Williams, coming out and saying exactly what they didn't like. Let the intrigue begin.
Yeah, well, you start to see the cracks in the foundation this week when Alan Williams, defensive coordinator, said out at Winter Park that some guys, you just can't play your own defense. You got to play the system works. Well, no, it doesn't, first of all. Second of all, after today's game, players were telling media members who were out in Arlington for the game that Not happy with the play calling, not happy with some of these decisions after the A.J. Jefferson interception, not happy with the play calling on the ensuing offensive drive. When these sort of things start to leak out into the media, that's when the writing's on the wall, Judd.
So the A.J. Jefferson interception happens. The Vikings offense then comes out and throws a pass, and the players say, why didn't you run the ball? Which I can't disagree with them. And then the defensive play calling we've known, as you said, has been an issue. I think what we're seeing now is I think everything the players said today about the defensive play calling has probably been articulated internally for weeks at Winter Park. And today the players, if you're Kevin Williams, you finally say to yourself, all right, for the last 3 weeks or month or whatever, I've told these people what they should do. I'm finally now going to no longer accept responsibility, because that's what this is. They're tired of being blamed.
Well, and Kevin Williams is an astute guy. You're right. He's probably had these thoughts before, but he's smart enough and he's enough of a professional that you don't just throw your coaches under the buses. It's bad face, and it really doesn't help the situation.
Mm-hmm.
When you start making these comments is when you realize the situation can't be helped.
Starting quarterback on Thursday?
I've said I think it's going to be Josh Freeman. I know a lot of people disagree with me. Just kind of speculation on my part. They threw him the Washington playbook a while back and said, all right, man, start learning. We're going to ponder for this next game, but you're our guy Thursday night.
I'm with you. If they don't start Josh Freeman, they're crazy now. He's healthy. He can play. You're 1-7. Find out what you have. And if you really are taking a longer look at Christian Ponder, then everybody has to go. Then you just clean house. You have a fire sale at Winter Park. Everybody, if you are really looking at Christian Ponder still, you're crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. We hosted Viking Vent Line today. I'm Judd Zolga at John Dubay at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. weekdays here on 1500 ESPN. He is Derek Wetmore, runs the show at 1500ESPN.com, and we appreciate you coming to the website to watch our Vikings video. Vikings lose to Cowboys, and that's nothing new. Talk to you later.